Hi Nathan, welcome to winter.
Very good to be back. Happy half a year now, huh?
Absolutely. Now today we're going to have a little chat about inflation and interest rates. Inflation still being relatively high and also interest rates still going up. How does that leave us with the real estate market?
That's very interesting topics to have a conversation about, because inflation and interest rate, they work hand in hand, and the lever, as I've spoken about this in the past, that the Reserve Bank and the government play with to slow the inflation down is the interest rate. And the interest rate is at the moment at 7.11%, one year fixed, I believe, and it's keep going up, and that's going to keep going up, even though they say that might be the last thing, as they say, this might be the last one, this might be the last one, next might be the last one. The last year, I think they had 11 times increase in the last 12 months or 14 months.
Yeah. It should come down soon. We keep getting told, don't we? The interest rate will start coming down.
It's the boarding the frog mentality, right? You board it slowly, and it doesn't feel it. If you put them in hot water, it jumps out.
Sure.
So it's unfortunate, but that's what's happening, and they don't want to tell us where they're going to stop until it's too late. I feel like because the inflation is for the last quarter, the inflation was 6.7%. It's still not under control. It needs to be at 2 or under for inflation to be at a right level. They're going to keep raising this thing called interest to get it below 2%. So I feel like we still got a little while to go. Wouldn't be surprised. I hope it isn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to 8 or 9%.
And so with interest rates rising, it's not always good for homeowners, is it? No. In fact, it's never good for homeowners if you've got a mortgage, because you're going to keep paying more and more and more. And around that, I guess, there's always that discussion out there on the street, as you say, has the housing market bottomed out yet? Are we at the lowest point?
As we do hear conversation that we have on the couch, it's like we always tell people the truth, because we can predict, they can persevere, so we can tell them what's going to happen. I feel like we haven't hit the bottom yet. We down probably 20-25% in most areas, and I feel like with interest rate going up, as you see, the affordability becomes less. Then there's going to be some sales, distressed sales off the back of high mortgage rates, right? And we won't see a bounce back until the distressed sales or the mortgagee sales are done. And I think it might be end of the year, that's going to be the bottom, possibly early next year.
Okay. Yeah, and so following that next question that we tend to quite often ask as we sit here and have our chats is, if you're thinking of selling, is it now is the time in the middle of winter, which is generally not a big sales time, or should people be waiting for spring or waiting for the market to bottom out? Should that be the end of the year? Yeah,
we're having a conversation with the sales team this morning, is that your home is worth what the last home sold in your street, when the market is going up, when the market is coming down. So as we see it off the back of this interest rate going high, affordability becomes harder to hold on to their properties. The properties must sell, meaning that they're got to let the houses go for less than what they're probably worth, or not what they want to sell the house for, what they have to sell the house for. That means that if you are thinking about selling in the next 12 months, 24 months, 4 years, because once the market hits the bottom, it doesn't bounce back overnight. It takes time for it to recover. 5 years, possibly more. So if you are thinking about selling, now is the next best time. The best time would have been 6 months ago, would have been 12 months ago, would have been 18 months ago.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Now is the next best time. And the most important thing is you must look for an agent and an agency who's going to give you the right advice, who knows what they're doing, and actually going to give you advice what's best for you to help you maximize the value of the property, because now it's more important than ever to hire an agent who's actually true professional and help you get you the best possible price.
And that leads me perfectly into my final question for you today, actually, Nathan, and that is, in a market that we're seeing at the moment, should you decide to go to market now, auction or deadline?
That's a real good question. It just depends what the house is like.
Yeah.
We're not an advocate of auction or deadline. We look at a home, the vendor situation, and give them a recommendation what's best for them. A lot of agents, they just go one way. Majority go to auction, and the reason they do that is because these organizations, these companies, they've got big auction rooms, right? And they got expenses to cover, right? So all they're interested in is just like auction the property, because even if the house doesn't sell, the auctioneer gets paid. So you got to be careful who you get advice from. If the auctioneer tells you to auction the property, you've got to be very mindful. Like me walking to a Toyota dealership, asking them what car should I buy. What are they going to say?
Toyota.
Buy a Toyota, right? So you got to be careful as agents as well as the clients. Go to some of the auction rooms, see what they're like. How many of those properties sold? Look at the house that's like your home. Did that sell at auction? And if it did sell, ask the vendor. Say, what were they happy with the price? Because what happens when you auction a first home, it just narrows down the buyers. You're only dealing with 1% of the buyer, or one buyer rather than 10 buyers. So what does that mean? You're going to get less money for your property, right?
Yeah. So it's case by case as it is in any market. What's going to be best for the property, what's best for the vendors.
Absolutely. Well, here at Najib, we will give you a recommendation what's best for you. Give us a call. Our agents are professional in what we do, and we will always give you advice what's best for you. And I feel like now is very important time, because when the market is hot, anybody can sell a house. You auction or you deadline, it doesn't really matter, right? But to truly maximize the value of your home in a little bit of tight market like we're having now, it's very important to talk to somebody who's got your best interest and how to give you advice what's best for you.
Brilliant. No, fantastic. Absolutely. Give us a call, and thank you very much for your time, Nathan.
Thanks, guys.